All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So just to kind of honor y'all's time, I thank y'all for coming out this evening. I know, there's a lot of stuff going on, both, with COVID and activities and stuff. It's a busy time of year, but I do appreciate y'all coming out to find out a little bit more about Governor's School. I will let you know that I am live streaming and recording this presentation tonight. So if you do need to go back and something that we shared with you all night, you want to go back and refresh it or share this with somebody who wasn't able to come tonight. If you go to our website at www.pgsmst, P as in pogo stick, pgsmst.com, then there will be a link on there that you can go to our YouTube page where this video from tonight will be present and stuff. So I just wanted to just kind of throw that out there at the beginning. So, all right, so we're gonna share some information with you all tonight about Piedmont Governor's School, this program, and just what it is. We've got a couple of teachers here tonight that will share a little bit about their classes and kind of what they teach within their classes. We've got a current student who will also talk about, Governor's School from a student perspective. And Ms. East back here, she'll wrap us up later at the end of the night and talk about the application process. Because I hope after everything you hear tonight, you'll all go home immediately after this and go on your computer, phone, tablet, whatever, and go ahead and put out an application for Governor's School. So I always like to start off these presentations and talking about the why, and talking about why I believe that Governor's School is such an important program for your child. So a couple of years ago, when I first got to Governor's School, and I was preparing for the first time that I did this, I was thinking about and was like, okay, what is the job outlook for the kids that are in school right now? Because if you really think about what the purpose of any school is, that's to prepare students for the future, for their future careers and what they're going to do. So as I started doing a little research on the internet, I found this article from Business Insider that talked about what the top 10 highest paying careers over the next decade would be. And this is just a brief summary of what they said would be the top, not just careers, but highest paying careers. Because everybody likes money, right? We like work and we want to feel valued work. We also like to get paid and make some money and stuff too. So as I started looking at this list, as you see this list as well, one thing really kind of stood out to me looking at it, and that is pretty much every single job here requires some level of advanced math or science knowledge and training. It was really just very obvious when I saw that. It just kind of hit me. I was like, wow. You hear a lot, they talk a lot about STEM, which is acronym for science, technology, engineering, math and stuff. But I didn't realize how important that really was to future job prospects and what was really where the growth and the money is in terms of the future. And so when we think about a decade from now, that's when students are in high school right now, when they're going to be looking to get into the job market and get into for careers. And so I think really the STEM fields and STEM related fields are really going to be high in demand. It's going to be something that a lot of kids are going to be looking into, in their job, prospects. And so that's really where we fit in as Governor's School. So I bring that up because we are an advanced math and science program. That is our focus as a program, and that's what we have been about. This is our 20th year in operation here in Martinsville and Henry County, and also in Danville and Pennsylvania County as well. And throughout those entire 20 years, our curricular focus has been offering these advanced college level math and science curriculum to students. And we're all about trying to challenge high achieving, highly motivated, academically gifted kids and giving them that experience while they're still in high school to get these higher level classes to springboard them to the future when they go and graduate and go on to a four-year university. And many of our former students go on to graduate school and all that, and try to give them that good foundation in those areas. And we do a lot of problem solving, critical thinking, utilizing technology in this. So there's a lot of different things that we utilize within that. But the overall focus of our program is providing that rich advanced math and science program. So we have 2 campuses at Danville and Martinsville that serve 4 different school divisions. Martinsville, which you all attend in here tonight, also Henry County, Danville City, and Pennsylvania County as well. We are one of 19 academic year governor schools in Virginia. Not to be confused with the regional governor school program. That's more geared for upper elementary and middle school students. This program is specifically designed for high school students. There's 19 programs around the state that serve multiple school divisions around the state. And each governor school program has a specific curricular focus. Like I said, ours is in advanced math and science and technology. Now, just to talk a little bit about the structure of the program, we are a half-day program. So if you apply to Piedmont Governor School and are chosen to come here, you will attend Governor School for half of your day, the morning half of your day. You will come straight here to Patrick and Henry Community College in the mornings and take your first and second block classes here at Piedmont Governor School. Then around 11 o'clock, we dismiss here, and then you will head down the road back to Martinsville High School and attend your afternoon classes at Martinsville there. So when you're a Piedmont Governor School student, you're kind of half here and half there. So you really get kind of the best of both worlds. You're not really, you don't have to leave your base high school where you may be involved with activities and clubs and different things. You're still able to participate in those things, but also have this experience of coming here on an actual college campus, taking college level classes. We do operate on an A-B schedule. So students at Piedmont Governor School each semester are enrolled in 4 different classes. So you go to 2 of those classes on Mondays and Wednesdays, and you go with the other 2 classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And Friday is an alternate day where we go to one set of classes on one Friday and then we go to the next set the other Friday. So it really is kind of like a college schedule, that students experience when they do enroll in college and go away to a 4-year school. And this is a 2-year academic program. So you start Governor School in your junior year, and then you finish it up in your 12th grade year. It is, school divisions that participate in Piedmont Governor School do expect a 2-year commitment for students. It's not, they really don't like to have students come in 1 year and then want to drop out of Governor School. They want them to come in, stay involved, stay a part of it, and graduate from the program in 2 years and participate all 4 semesters in the program. Now, all of our, being here on Piedmont Governor School classes, all of our classes except for one, and Ms. King can talk a little bit about that in a second, are considered dual enrollment classes, which means you're getting both high school and college credit at the same time. And they're all dual enrolled through Patrick and Henry Community College. And so students have the opportunity to earn a lot of college credits through the DE program. In your folders that you received outside before you came in here this evening, it just kind of goes through all of the different classes that we offer here. You got some information about that, little short descriptions about it, but it also will tell you in each of the classes how many credit hours you earn in each class. Generally with our science classes, and Ms. King is one of our science teachers here, pretty much all of our science classes, students will earn 8 college credit hours in completing a science class here at Piedmont Governor School. Our math classes vary in different credit hours. Some are 5, some are 4, some are 3. They vary in the different classes. But every class at least is 3 college credit hours. And we were talking a little bit before we got started here. One of the things about the Piedmont Governor School program is students are able to complete the associate's degree in science through Patrick and Henry Community College through the courses that they take here at Piedmont Governor School. The typical Governor School student in just their Governor School classes alone earns between 42 to 47 college credits, just depending on what combination of courses they choose to take in the 2 years they're here at Governor School. So when you combine those classes you take here at Governor School with other dual enrollment classes you take at in y'all's case, Martinsville, you can earn the 60 credit hours necessary to complete the associate's degree in science through Patrick and Henry Community College. Now, it is not a requirement that Governor School students get an associate's degree. However, we have found over the last several years that the vast majority of our students do complete an associate's degree when they graduate, because it's really not a tremendous amount of extra classes they have to take. It's really classes they would have to take anyway when they go to their base school anyway to complete their high school requirements. So this is a good kind of extra beneficial feature of the Piedmont Governor School program. All right, I'm going to go over one last thing here really quickly, and then I'm going to let two of our teachers, Ms. Whitaker and Ms. King, talk a little bit about their particular classes and what they teach here at Governor School. But our research teacher couldn't be here tonight, so I do want to talk a little bit about our research program here at Governor School. Because one thing I think that really sets the Governor School program apart from any other advanced learning opportunities your students may have an opportunity to participate in as juniors and seniors is the research program that we have here at Governor School. Research is such an important part of science. Any kind of scientific field, research is a major part. But you also see research as a major part of other academic areas as well outside of the area of science. And so from the very beginning of Piedmont Governor School, we have had a research program where we have dedicated, different specific courses that students take while Governor School students, where they learn the research process. Not just going on Google and searching something up and then throwing it down on a piece of paper and saying, hey, it's research, but actually real rigorous academic research where you're going, researching the current literature of different things, developing research questions, going, collecting data, doing your own study, drawing conclusions from that data you collect, and then presenting those conclusions and writing all that up into one big culminating paper. This is what we call the senior research project here at Governor School. This is something that every Governor School student has completed during their time. And Jenny, she can talk a little bit here in a moment about her particular research project and what she's working on currently, because she's a senior here with us right now. So she's in the middle of doing her senior research project. It seems really, really, really daunting when you talk about it at first. And Jenny probably would be like, yeah, when I first heard about it, I was like, oh, how am I ever going to do this? But we have found over the years that this is one of the biggest things and one of the biggest benefits that students get from the Governor School program when they go away to a four-year school. Because like I said, I don't care what you major in college, pretty much every degree program requires some kind of research before you are able to graduate at the end of 4 years. So this is, it's better to know how to do this now and do it right than kind of muddle and your way through it when you go to college and not really sure how to do it. And a lot of our former students come back to us and say, yeah, I was like miles ahead of my peers because of what I had to do at our Governor School program. So I think it's a really, really important part of our program and something that's really sets us apart from other advanced programs, because no other advanced program in this area that I know of really emphasizes research like we do here at Governor School. This is a unique feature of our program and what we do. So I'm going to be quiet for a moment because I can sit here and talk all night if people let me. So I'm going to step aside and I'm going to introduce Ms. Whitaker. She teaches calculus and statistics for us here at Governor School, and Ms. King. And so Ms. Whitaker, I'll let you talk first and talk about the math classes here at Governor School.
Good evening. I'm Jenny Whitaker. I teach juniors and seniors here at Piedmont Governor School. My partner in math, Ms. Harrell, she couldn't be here tonight, but I'll speak for her as well. Juniors coming in, we'll have both of us. She teaches the pre-calculus course that is a year-long math course, and I teach a junior level intro to statistics class that is a semester long. That class is kind of paired in the other semester with Ms. Spencer's research introduction with literature reviews. And what we try to do the junior year is teach them all the skills that they're going to need to help them complete that senior level research project. The senior level, they have some choices with us. They can, if they're on a math, design, engineering type track, they can take Calculus 1 with me. If they're on more of maybe a medical track, they can take statistics with Ms. Harrell, or they can choose to take both, which I think is a unique feature of our program too, because they don't always have the opportunity for both of their base school. I can also speak from a personal note. My son went through this program several years ago and loved it here. And he speaks the same as far as the research aspect of this. He really felt like he was leaps and bounds above everybody that he went to college with. All of the credits that he took here transferred with him to Virginia Tech, and he is now working in a data analysis job in DC. So, just any questions about the math?
All right, Ms. King.
Shannon King, I teach chemistry, physics, and forensic science. As a junior, you'd be taking chemistry. You would also be taking forensic science for 1 semester, and that is the only class here, as Mr. Wilcox just mentioned a few minutes ago, that is not college credit. So the forensic science class is more of an intro to forensic science. It's kind of a laid back class that actually integrates physics, chemistry, biology aspects so that you're investigating and learning how forensic investigators actually investigate a crime scene, that sort of thing. So it's kind of an intro class. It's kind of fun. But like I said, it's not a college credit. So there isn't a lot of stress for that class. But the chemistry, there are 8 credits for that because it's a lab class. So you have the chemistry 111 in the fall, and you have chemistry 112 in the spring. So you have 4 credits for each one. Physics, you have physics 201 in the fall, physics 202 in the spring of your senior year if you choose to take that. And that also carries 4 credits per semester. And like I said, both of them integrate a lab. Miss Dillon, who isn't able to be here this evening, teaches biology. And biology is a senior level class, and it is a choice that you can take 2 sciences or 2 maths in your senior level, your senior year. And for biology, it is the same. It has bio, was it 101?
Yes, 101.
Okay, bio 101 in the fall and bio 102 in the spring. And each one of those carries 4 credit hours as well. Or you also have the chance, the opportunity to take anatomy, which is also an 8 credit class throughout the year. So you have 1 in the fall, 1 in the spring. So there are 2 separate classes, basically fall and spring, just like it would be set up for Patrick Henry Community College. Most of the time, these particular classes will transfer, especially to tech or UVA and in-state colleges. They transfer directly in the past. We've had no issues with that I know of. Out of state, a lot of times they have to present their syllabi so that they can prove that this is the subjects that we took and these are the things that we actually did in the class. And a lot of times they'll accept it either as that particular course or as a science elective, one of the 2. But if you complete your associates, you have all of that behind you as well. The thing that I would like to, I don't have, my son didn't go through this particular program, but I do have students that come back and they say that they appreciate the research aspect of this for one, but they also appreciate the fact that this is a transition. So you have high school, but you have college at the same time. So it's not like you're being thrown into that 4-year university to kind of like sink or swim. You actually have the support of all your teachers and staff here to help you out and help you into that transition from just a high school, the rigors of a high school credit or high school course, going into a college environment and a college course, the rigors that you would have there. So it's actually a pretty good transition point coming through government school. I also serve as a mentor, although Ms. Dillon, most people for some reason, I don't know, choose biology to do a lot of their research instead of chemistry or physics, but I serve as a mentor for the research projects as well. So when you get into the research area, if you choose a topic that happens to be with chemistry or physics, then you would be working with me. If you chose something that's dealing with biology or anatomy, you would be working with Ms. Dillon or Mr. Gibson, who is the anatomy teacher here. So you have that opportunity to have us as mentors to guide you through the program and through your research topic as well. Questions about the science area? I think I've said this, but chemistry and forensic science will be juniors, and the seniors you get to choose between physics, biology, or
All right, thank you, Steve. All right, so to kind of move on to the benefits of Governor School, I can sit here all night and talk about benefits, but I believe the people who we're here for are the students and the kids. So I invited one of our current students, Ms. Jenny Turner, to talk to you all a little bit about just her experience here. Oh, come on, Jenny. It's to talk about it at Governor School and talk about, how she feels that, Governor School has benefited her as a student. So go ahead, Jenny.
Okay, as I said, I'm Jenny Turner. I'm a senior at Bassett this year. And for Gov School, I'm taking anatomy, biology, and statistics because I was like, when I first entered in this year, I was like more geared towards like the sciences and possible medical field. But now I'm kind of like, but one big benefit for Gov School so I recently applied to UVA for this big scholarship program called Questbridge. And it's for like the high achieving students of like low income. And that like by having Gov School on like my application, it kind of pushed me forward. And out of 18,000 students, I was able to match to UVA for a full ride. So it really like helps like push you forward like ahead of other students because they'll have just the regular APs for like their day school, but they don't actually have like the college level classes. Also speaking about Gov School, of course, the research program. I have never before Gov School seen research like this. And I know almost all of my classmates at Bassett, like even if they're like staying on the AP track and all that, and along the ACE kids, they are doing nothing to the level we are. So I feel confident. Like I'm not a strong writer. Well, I haven't been a strong writer until like this year. And through the process, with the help of Miss Spencer, who's our research teacher, I'm now like if I go into college, I'm like I don't feel like I'll be completely lost. Which that's like my biggest fear is like going in and having no clue. But now I'm like comfortable. Because my older sister, she graduated 2016. She also did Governor School. And she said that it's like really helped. And that's what pushed me to do it because I had a sibling I've been through. And she's like, you need to experience this or you're going to get behind. But I think it's been an overall like really good program. I've enjoyed it. If you're ever like worried about like time management or like, oh, I don't have enough time, you'll be able to work it out. I play 3 sports and I'm in 3 clubs.
So busy.
And it does take a little time to get used to, but you can definitely work out a schedule where you'll be able to get your work done along with like being able to get your practices and have a social life. I know that's one thing a lot of people used to be worried about, like, oh my god, what if I don't have a social life? You can work it out. Like it's really not that bad. Like the classes really just are there to like push you further. It just makes you a better student because it makes you learn how to study. That was one thing I was like challenged at first, is because I was like naturally smart in high school, like the main like normal level classes. I came to Gov School and I was like, I have to study. I'm not gonna get the grade I want. And so it really like makes you like look personally and be like, okay, I need to set this time aside to study, this time for myself, and like this time for my sports or clubs. And I feel like it's just a really good like time management. Like it like helps you learn your time management like during this like courses.
All right, thank you, Jenny. Okay. So I really can't add a whole lot more to what Jenny said. I mean, I think she really encompassed a lot of it. She talked to me. I had on here. I was like, all right, it prepares you for college. She talked about that. About the preparation for college. Yeah, and all that. We've talked a lot about the college credits. One thing I will mention, I don't think we've even said tonight, I can't believe we haven't even said this, but we've been talking all about these college credits and everything and stuff like that. And I haven't said anything about money. And I guess I haven't talked about it because we don't even really think about the money because it's all of these college credits are free. They don't cost your parents and students or anybody a dime. Now, Martinsville City, it costs them a little bit, but for you all, it doesn't cost you all a dime. That's one of the beautiful parts about our program is that it is the school divisions that participate, they really do, that they put their financial support behind this and behind the students and making this a no-cost program for students, which is awesome. And I think that's a huge thing. So because the fact that you don't have to pay extra community tuition for all these credits, it saves students money. It also saves them time as well in terms of completing things and everything. So it is a big benefit in terms of that. And then Jenny talked about this as well. This is a huge resume booster for students, and it really gives them a huge leg up when it comes to admissions to colleges and universities, but also for scholarships. I'm glad Jenny mentioned her being awarded the Questbridge scholarship. She's not the only Questbridge scholar that we have. We had one at the Danville site as well that won a Questbridge scholarship. And Ignacio, right, another student, a senior we had graduate last year, also won. So this is becoming a norm for us. It's something that we're really proud about and proud of our students, getting this really major honor to be able to get not only admission to these universities, but get full tuition. It's awesome because it is a very competitive scholarship, and our students are doing well in earning these things. So it's a huge resume booster. I mean, the governor's school program as a whole across the state of Virginia, and even outside of Virginia, has a very strong reputation of turning out very well prepared students for the rigors of college. It is a very strong reputation across the state. This is just kind of a list of where our students have gone over the last several years. It's not an exhaustive list because there's a lot more places than just this, but I like to show this because our students go pretty much anywhere they want to go. It does not matter. We've got kids that have gone to Ivy League schools. They've gone to small private colleges. If wherever your child wants to go, whatever's the best fit for them for the next step in their academic career, we can help get them there. And so we really do. We send kids all over the place. We send a lot of kids to Tech, UVA, William and Mary, small private universities, in the area. Ivy League school. I mean, you name it, we've sent kids to there in the past 20 years.
They start soliciting early, because we've already gotten several things from several colleges already.
Yeah. So it's a lot. So it really is. Our kids really are, going places, and we'll help get your child someplace as well if they decide to come to us next year. Okay. All right. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. East. Ms. East works with me in the office at Governor's School. She's my administrative assistant. She has been here. I'm going to embarrass her for saying she has been here since the very beginning of Governor's School.
Day one.
Yeah, day one, right? So she's got more tenure than I do. But anyway, she's going to talk to y'all a little bit about the application process. So I hope that we have really made you like, all right, this sounds awesome. I want to do this. So she's going to talk to you about the application process and how to get into Governor's School. So take it away, Ms.
You want to snap the video?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, as Mr. Bocock has mentioned earlier, if you go to the PGS MST website, scroll down to the bottom, and it says begin the application process. You click there. It's really simple. You fill out the application. In the application process, I always like to tell this part. It says to name 3 teachers that will give you a good reference. Kids, when I say a good reference, make sure it's somebody that you know that really likes you, because it only takes one teacher to give you a bad reference. And believe me, it happens every year. It happens every year. You might have gone in and made Mr. Bocock mad that day. Well, you know what? Payback. You know what they say about payback. So just make sure that it's teachers. And I do not recommend that you put somebody that you're going to have this semester that you've never had before, because they really don't know you. I mean, you've been in high school, your 9th grade, your 10th grade, so you should be able to get some teachers there. And if they're not still at your base school, sometimes it's real easy for somebody in the guidance office. They can contact them, if they've been transferred or something out. So you want to make sure that you put teachers down that you have a good relationship with. I encourage you to, get on. Is it already open?
Yeah, should be already open. Yeah.
So
tonight.
Go ahead and apply for it. And so they can get the information out, because those 3 teachers will be able to go ahead and give their recommendation and everything and get that turned in. I really encourage everyone to go through the process. You may say, well, hey, this isn't going to be for me. I encourage you to go through the process. It's, like I said, like Mr. Bocock said, I've been here since day one. We started Governor's School here July 1st, 2002. We started here at the college. Piedmont Governor's School has moved 5 times. 5 times. We've been around the block, as you might say. So, yeah, literally around the block. If you have any problems, you know, if Mr. Botox not available, we did put one of his business cards in there. If you call that main number, it'll tell you who all you can talk to. If he's not there, I'm at extension number 2. I can answer your questions most of the time. If I can't answer your question, I'll maybe make something up or either refer. I am their entertainment, so that's the reason they do keep me around. So, you know, 35 years with the school system, you know, you've been around. So, but this is by far the best place. And I encourage you, you know, a lot of people say, well, you want to do ACE and not governor's school. I can't speak for ACE. The only thing I can speak for is governor's school. And I tell you what, he's got the best faculty. He has really got the best faculty. These faculty members will stay after class. And usually y'all have time before y'all go back to Martinsville. So like if you need a 20-minute, you know, talk with Miss Whitaker or Miss King on their subjects, they're willing to do that. They're here early. Miss Whitaker opens the building just about every morning. So our teachers are here for you. And, you know, it's all about you because you make the program, you know, so your, you know, your success, it's up to you. Time management, that's something I could say is time management. I mean, like Jenny said, you can have a social life. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't have a social life. If you have a problem, go talk to a teacher. These teachers, I mean, they do have hearts, you know, so just talk to your teacher. But the application process is really easy to follow through. And like I said, if you have questions about it, feel free to call Mr. Bocock or you can call me and we'll do the best we can as far as answering.
All right. And then after you apply, you know, you do need to make sure, you know, and all of you all should be fine about this, meet Patrick and Henry's DE requirements. Like I said, we already kind of did this legwork for you because we wouldn't have sent you a letter if you didn't already meet these requirements of the cumulative GPA and whatnot. So you all should be fine with that, but you will have to apply to Patrick and Henry, but your college coach or your career coach, I think is what they're called, at Martinsville will help you. They'll usually run you down, track you down, and make sure you apply to Martinsville. I mean, to Patrick and Henry before the end of the year, because that's the case for any DE class, whether it's governor's school or anything. You've got to apply before the beginning of your junior year and be officially enrolled in Patrick and Henry Community College. Then the last step is the governor's school assessments. Each school division gets a certain number of spots each year for governor's school, and the number fluctuates from year to year. So when you apply as a Martinsville City student, you are just applying for Martinsville spots. So even though if you get into governor's school, there's students from Henry County high schools here as well. You're not, when you go through the application process, you're not competing against Henry County students for those spots. They have their own separate spots for governor's school for next year. There are just a certain dedicated number for Martinsville High School. I can't tell you off because I'm sure some of you are wondering, well, how many spots are there for next year? I couldn't tell you off the top of my head how many there are because really, quite honestly, it could change. I could tell you a number right now and it could be different by the time next school year starts because Martinsville gets 25 total spots a year for juniors and seniors in governor's school. So you can probably bet it's probably going to be about 12 spots total for the junior class for next year. That's generally about what it is. About 12 to 13 spots will be available for Martinsville juniors next year. So because of that, because there are a limited number of spaces, we do have a selection process that involves different assessments and things that we give. So there's a 2-week application timeline. So the application window starts tonight. Like Ms. Z said, you can go online to our website and apply. You've got until 2 weeks from tonight, which is the 24th. Thank you. Is the 24th is the deadline. You have to apply by the 24th. On the 24th, then Martinsville City Schools is going to take all of the students who applied for governor's school at the high school, and they're going to set a date. It's probably going to be in early February, and they do this during the school day, so you don't have to come on Saturday or anything like that. but they take a date during the school week where they give you all of these different assessments here listed above. So we give the NNAT3 test, which is an analogy test. This is like a, you're given a series of patterns and you've got to determine what the last pattern is in that series. This is a test that determines spatial ability and reasoning and those types of things. It's a test that's frequently given to assess giftedness and everything. So you can't study for it, you can't prepare for it, you just got to take it and do it. So that's this test. Then we give a basic math assessment, which is basically just, and Ms. Whitaker, you can feel free to chime in, but basically it's just a series of questions based on content that they have already learned in previous math courses. So that's kind of the math assessment they take. Same thing with science, just questions, asking them about general questions about the basic science knowledge from previous courses they take. And then we do a written essay where we give you a series of documents and a question, and then you've got to write a response using those documents and using information from it. So it's kind of seeing not only your writing ability, but also how you can use information to kind of argue a point. Because the question is always asking you to take a stance and taking a point. The question that I always get about these things every year when I do these is, how can my kid prepare for these tests? And my answer always is, they can. Okay, they're designed specifically that you can't prepare for them. We want to assess you based on what you come in there with that knowledge. So there's no test prep book or anything you can do. You just got to come in there and do it. And I hope that's not intimidating. It's not intended to be intimidating. It's just we want to kind of have everybody on the same kind of playing field and everything with all these things. So all of the scores on these things will be combined, as well as you will get points based on your GPA and your teacher recommendations that Ms. Dees talked about. That's why it's really important. Make sure you pick really, really good people who know your strengths very well, can speak to those, because those teacher recommendations will be calculated in with your scores on these assessments as well as with your GPA. And then the top scoring students from Martinsville City will be offered first admission into the governor's school. Usually it's around about mid-March, late March, when we get that information from the school division and they can send those letters. If you don't get in that first round of admissions, you'll be on the waiting list. But don't despair if you're on the waiting list at first, because every year we inevitably take several students off the waiting list. Because for whatever reason, students that get in on the first round, they may decide, I want to do ACE, or I want to do this, or whatever. They just decide they don't want to come to governor's school. They don't accept the spot. So we always have, extra spots that we can offer admission to. So don't despair if you don't get in at first. It's not like your chances are done for governor's school. We always take kids in off the waiting list. And just because you're on the waiting list and you get in off the waiting list, we have plenty of students that just do absolutely well that didn't get in on the first go round. This is just our means of trying to, have a fair system to try to offer admission to students in the limited number of spots that we have. Okay. I've already kind of gone through there. So that's all the information that I have, for sharing with you all tonight. So at this point, does anyone have any questions for any of us here in the room? Feel free. We'll take a moment. Any questions for us? Yes.
This schedule for the rising juniors to be coordinated with the high school schedule so they don't get overbooked.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. We always, work with the participating schools. So, and as soon as they know who is accepted to governor's school, then they adjust their schedule with those students to make sure that their classes, because probably what most high schools do that we work with, they start signing up kids for classes in February, generally. And so they don't know whether they're in governor's school yet. But once they find out who's in governor's school or not, then they will take those morning class, those math and science classes generally that they sign them up for, kind of block those things off, and then we'll adjust their schedule accordingly for the classes that they do need. once they know that they're in another school and they've accepted. So we communicate back and forth with the base high schools to make sure that, and Ms. East and I mean, even during the summer, I mean, we're sharing information back and forth to make sure that their schedules are right once the school year starts in August.
And it never interfered with band. When we first started in 2000, I mean, let me tell you, the former band director, Martinsville, did not like government because it interfered with it. But I think Martinsville has now worked it out where they take band after the students get back instead of missing out on it. So, and yeah, and your guidance counselor, what's Kristen's last name?
Ms. Scott.
Miss Scott, the guidance counselor at Martinsville High School, she was one of our governor school students. So you can just ask her about governor school and she can tell you it's really, really worth it. I will say, what Mr. Bopak did not mention as far as, he showed you a list of some of the schools and colleges that students went to. There are a couple of schools that will not take dual enrollment credit. I don't care what you do. Wake Forest is one of them. Duke is one of them. But most anything else, NC State, the boy, the Win Bassett, his brother, I can't remember the other one's name, that came through the government school. A lot of them, they went to NC State. NC State, UNC will take some of them, but I think they're a little bit picky about it. But I do know that Wake Forest and Duke will not take any dual enrollment. So.
We did have a student a few years ago that actually went to UC Berkeley, California, and a lot of this college courses from here actually did transfer. So I mean, it's accepted in other places. It's just our specific ones.
Does it matter if you complete the associate's degree, then your dual enrollment doesn't matter because you've already got a little piece of paper?
Well, I think what it is that they want to see the syllabus. A lot of times they'll ask to see the syllabus. And I can tell you years ago, he was a Martinsville student. I can't remember his first name. His dad, his butt David, sit on the floor in September. He came back and he told me, he said, my son goes to UVA. And he said the first paper he had to write, he turned it into the professor and they called him in and they said, you plagiarized. And he says, no, sir, I did not. He said, no freshman writes a paper like this. And he said, yes, he said, they don't have doctor. At that time, it was another teacher. He said, I can get her syllabus. He took the syllabus back to UVA and gave it to the professor and he passed it. But I mean, that's, sometimes they'll say, well, can we see the teacher's syllabus? And once you show them that, there's no problem, no issue whatsoever.
And most of the time, those are posted on the PGS website.
Yeah, they are.
So even if they're gone, like if you already completed here and you're going over to that 3-year college and you need that syllabus, you can just go up and on PGS and MST.com and pull up this syllabi and then show it to the professor.
Now, you were asking about the associate's degree. I do know a lot of, especially public universities in Virginia, have articulation agreements with the community college system where if you get an associate's degree, they'll automatically accept you into their university. Now, there's always like little caveats and everything. One thing that I have learned though, that articulation agreement does not apply to high school students graduating and having to go. I mean, more than likely, you're still going to get in because to earn an associate's degree as a high school student and earn a high school degree, that's pretty doggone impressive. And not many kids do that. So that's just a huge feather in your cap anyway. So you really don't need that guaranteed admission agreement, with the 4-year university to get in, because you're going to, when they see that, they're going to be like, wow, that's impressive. You took this many college classes and to get an associate's degree. I mean, very few students in this country do that. So, I mean, you're going to get it regardless, but that's one thing. I mean, most students, especially students that come to government school, I mean, their long range plan is going to be to get more than just an associate's degree. They want to get at least a bachelor's degree, but more than likely probably going to get a master's degree and maybe even a doctorate. I mean, they're going to get, but it is. You never know what life might happen, and you may have these plans, but at least you have that piece of paper, that one college degree. If something does happen, that's one thing that we always tell students. It's it's not gonna be that much extra work for you to get the associate's degree. You might as well go ahead and do it, especially when it's so easy to do it as far as being just a program. But like I said earlier, it's not a requirement for governor's school to get the associate's degree. We do have some students that just, for whatever reason, don't get it. And that's totally fine. You still are completing a governor's school program. But we do strongly encourage kids to just go ahead and take the extra classes and do the extra things to do that, because you just never know. You know, it just looks good.
Another thing about transferability, sometimes like, so like the physics here, we all have physics and it is an intro to physics class, but if the student is going into engineering, say Virginia Tech, when you get to Virginia Tech, they're going to require that you take calculus and physics for engineers, which is a completely different class. So the physics that we would be taking here would transfer in as an elective for science, rather than the physics that's required for their degree program. So it would still transfer in as an elective in that area, and you still have those college credits, so the credits are placed in. It's just that you would have to take a specialized class for that specific thing.
Any other questions?
This is back on a scheduling basis. Of these 7 in the junior courses that are available, you said it would be 2 classes per semester in the morning.
So what we do is, all right, so just to kind of, I don't have it on a slide, so I'm just gonna kind of talk it through so you can kind of see it visually. So juniors have to take, every junior has to take chemistry, and they take that year round, okay? Then they take a math course. Most of them take pre-calculus with trigs and math, but some could test into calculus. So they have either pre-calculus or calculus as a math course. So that's 2 of your classes that you have a semester. Then you either take Research 11 or Statistical Reasoning as your 3rd class in that semester. So you'll either take one or the other in the fall, and you'll take the other one in the spring. And then the 4th class you'll take would be her forensic science class or information technology. We call it ITE, but I can't remember what the E is. But anyway, yeah, it's ITE is the other class. So you'll take one or the other. So that's 4 classes that you'll take each semester. But because we do on an AB schedule, so they'll take two of those 4 on Mondays and Wednesdays, then the other 2 of those 4 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Did I explain that?
I assumed, and it was somewhat rhetorical, but I want to clarify.
Yeah.
So there's 7 that count as college credits because the forensic science doesn't count.
Right. Yeah.
Otherwise, it would be.
Yeah, PH does not have a forensic science class, so we can't dual enroll something that they don't have the comparable thing in their catalog. So
Even though you don't get a credit for that class, one of my favorite classes. I love that class. That comes from fun.
yeah.
I like it. I like your stuff.
Any other questions or anything? All right. Well, I thank you all for coming out. Like Ms. E said, you have in your folders my cards, got my email, phone number. So please do not hesitate if you have any questions or anything as we go through the application process and all that. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I really do try to get back to folks, very quickly with responses and all that. I do have y'all's emails as well, so I'll send out I generally like to send out a general email to everybody that attends the day after, just to say, hey, thank y'all, and and all that stuff. But anyway, but please do not hesitate, and I do hope that, like Ms. E said, I hope you all apply. Don't take yourself out before you have a chance to go through this. It's one thing I say to students all the time. Some students might think, there's just no way that I'll get in. It's just he said there was only 12 spots. There's no way out. There's the people will beat me out. There's no way I'll get in. Why even try? And I always say, don't sell yourself short. You don't know. And I said, I can't guarantee if anyone gets in, but I can definitely guarantee you won't get in if you don't apply. So please, 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 if you feel like this is something really good for you, something you really want, apply. Do it, get into it, take the test, and go through the process, because you may shock yourself and get in. And like I said, if you do get in, I promise you, we got great faculty, great staff. We got great kids. It's a great place. I love working here. This is my 3rd year here, and it's just great. I love coming to work every day. My wife doesn't have to drag me out of bed kicking and screaming. So, I mean, it's good. It's just a great place. And so, I really hope to see y'all next year, as our new junior group. So thank y'all. I'll stick around for a couple extra minutes if you have any individual questions, but thank y'all. Have a great night. Stay safe. And let me know if you have any questions.